Hello guys, it's a great pleasure to be here with you today to present the 4-type negotiation matrix, which is a new way of classifying negotiations. Before answering this question, I would like you to ask you to subscribe to our channel to help us to produce even more videos, even more material to you regarding the negotiations. Well, I first will present the negotiation matrix in a friendly and new way of presentation, and then I will discuss in detail. First, I would like to address some previous perspectives in the negotiation process. Regarding this model, for instance, let's see the four perspectives of negotiation process. As you can see here, well, process and negotiation are addressed, but individual processes such as individual differences, emotions, for instance, social psychological processes such as power and influence, trust, for instance, communication process, frequencies in communication, complex negotiation, like all kinds of negotiations that we know, such as trade negotiations, etc. Well, this model is quite interesting, but I think it's my opinion, Professor Murilo, my opinion, that it's a little bit complicated to classify negotiation, because you have to understand the true nature of a negotiation to encompass this process, to use this process. But nevertheless, it is quite accepted in the academia and helpful to address negotiations. Well, the 1986 Pruitt and Rubin dual concern model regards the concerns for self and others. As you can see here, this is a two-dimensional model, but two-party model as well. I don't see much more than three parties addressing negotiation issues or conflict management issues, for instance. Other models are displayed in this picture here. As you can see, the managerial grid is 1964, Blake and Moulton's dual concern model, as discussed in the previous slide. The Thomas Kellerman instrument, which addresses issues regarding two parties and strategizing conflict management, for instance. The model of transaction negotiation from Reinhardt and Page from 1992, which addresses buyer-seller negotiations, for instance. Well, I'd like to mention the tremendous book. This is called The Art and the Science of Negotiations from Howard Raiffa from 1982, one of the best negotiation books I have ever read. And in this book, the negotiations are classified according to the number of issues negotiated. For instance, what is a distributive negotiation? It is a case in which I have one single issue under negotiation. And the integrative negotiations is a bargain in which I have two or more parties discussing several issues in a given negotiation. Understand? Therefore, the number of parties in a negotiation process classification are not often mentioned. If you see the way people at Harvard Law School, the program of negotiation, classifies negotiation and negotiators as a competitive and cooperative, as bargaining positions focused in positions and principle or interest-based negotiations focused in interests. It is there are different ways of classifying negotiation. Therefore, what about the number of parties? We know for sure that imagine two people dividing or negotiating over one issue. But imagine 10 people trying to negotiate the same issue. Of course, the greater the number of people negotiating, the more complex negotiation is. Well, of course, therefore, the number of parties in any negotiation process is quite important, and I devised a way to represent them in a two-dimensional matrix. The greater the number of parties, the more complex a negotiation process is. That's what I believe, and I decided to put this into the test. Well, the four-type negotiation matrix encompasses the number of parties in any negotiation type. Encompasses as well the number of issues. And it is a two-dimensional matrix tested in a 100-case meta-analysis study. Well, how did I arrive at the four-type negotiation matrix? First, I decided to classify 50 negotiations. I researched over 50 articles, negotiation articles, classified all of them. Then I investigated again another set of 50 articles in a meta-analysis study and classified them again. Look the result. Watch the results here in the screen. Down here I mention you the reference. This article was published in the British Journal of Education, May 2020, and as you can see the picture here, have some negotiations, different environments. For instance, in the sample we have only 7 negotiations, but we have aerospace industry, IT business, copier services, cooperatives, brewing industry, e-business negotiations. In sum, every environment, different forms of negotiation, B2B, B2C, buyer-seller, cooperatives, any form of negotiation. And I could classify according to types, integrative and distributive negotiation. Therefore, this model is not it adds, complements the existing epistemology on this subject. Well, this is a more academic version of the negotiation matrix. The two-party here, multiple party here, one issue, multiple issues. As you can see, type 1 and type 3 negotiations are distributive ones. Type 2 and type 4 negotiations are integrative ones. Well, this is a more friendly and modern way of presentation the four-type negotiation matrix. As you can see here, type 1, 2, 3, and 4. Types 1 and 2 and 3 are distributive negotiations. Type 2 and 4 are integrative negotiations. What we can do, it provides us a perspective on where we are now and where we should be in the future. If you are in a one-party negotiation, type 1 negotiation, go to type 2. Insert issues to create options, to create mutual gain options, is to enrich a negotiation process. Type 3, if you have one issue, try to insert more options to create more value to the negotiation process. You like it, guys? Subscribe to the channel, follow me on the ResearchGate under Murilo Dias. Alright? Thank you so much. And it is a great pleasure to present this four-type negotiation matrix to you. See you next time. Bye-bye.